Like I tried. It was like every day. I'm like, oh my god. I was like literally going insane because I was on like ADHD meds since I was like in elementary, and then at one point I just said fuck it, and I just stopped taking it. I was taking those joints for like probably closer on to
talk
like,
closer, bro.
Almost like 8 years or so of like ADHD meds. So pretty much like of elementary to high school, and then it was just like a. I don't like the way this shit makes me feel. Then fuck it. Then I'm gonna take in control.
Okay, so this is deep. I want to ask you, like, how, like, when did you start the ADHD medicine, bro?
Fucking elementary. Like, no, it was like elementary because I remember biting. I think I bit like a teacher and like the principal.
It's crazy that they jump like any act of, you know, especially for a man, you know, at that, or, you know, a boy at that age, you know, they jump right into the, you know, ADHD. Oh, you know, he act out. You know,
that's where I was about to go with this.
They always jump right to, but I'll let you.
I was about to ask you, like, so, like, who initially? I mean, of course, your mom took you. Your mom took you to the doctor or something, and that's what they recommended.
Yeah, it was. You know, that was a recommendation, and definitely like that with like psychiatry. But to me, as like a young kid, it was just like, yo, like, I'm not. I was literally felt like I was taking a passenger seat to my mind, and I'm like. Yo, what, like I'm literally there were times I was like literally like, yo, I can't register emotion. Like I was like, imagine somebody telling a joke and you're like, oh, that's funny, but like you feel the effect of laughter and you want to laugh, but it's just like, nah, it's just not there, just not connecting.
That's actually not good. You know, I feel like that hurts, you know, especially, you know, boys growing up, you know, more than, you know, they know, you know, it's harmful. You know, I understand that, you know, people do act out, boys do act out, but the first step shouldn't be medication, you know.
Yeah.
Because it affects, just like you said, you have that effect, you know, it's going to hurt, you know, on the back end, because like you said, you never want to take a back seat to your mind, you know?
Yeah, and I started realizing even at an early age where it was just like, okay, who's the worst enemy? Like, I'm not fucking happy with who I am right now. So what would I want to do to be like at least get close to, if not happiness, but like, don't you know that feeling that you get after you bust a nut and you're just like, oh yeah, fine.
Just some relief for like a couple seconds.
Like relief.
Yeah.
And that sense like, oh, like everything's right in the world. What's that?
So
okay.
Who do you think you please better?
Trans versus trans and women. Trans, I'd say that men, women, that's interchangeable, so I'm not going to keep saying that, but I'd honestly say probably men, just simply because I was a sex worker for shit. I still am now. But I really just saw it as like just practice at getting good at sex. It's like practicing at stretching type shit almost.
Yeah, that's definitely deep. You know, I feel like I said, just going back to the ADHD medication, you know, that's something that, you know, is definitely, I feel like, harmful, you know, more than anything, you know, because, you know, I was almost there, you know, going to be put on that medication, but my dad was like, no, he's just a young boy. He's going to, you know, do those things. That's, I never bit anybody, but it was always just like, hey, you know, I can't sit still. Doesn't mean I need to be put on medication.
You know, literally, that was how it was felt. It was just like, oh, like you're not acting like how the other kids are acting, so we'll use chemical warfare to rectify that behavior. And I'm like, well, fuck me.
Yeah, it's definitely not, you know, a solution. I feel like, you know, some extreme cases, yes, but it's not a solution to the problem of, you know, a kid acting out. At that point, maybe therapy, maybe, you know, talking, or maybe, you know, actually, you know, considering, you know, the young child other than just, you know, medication, you know.
Yeah, communication is definitely key. But
yeah, sorry, I had to step off for some technical difficulties. Let me see. What were you just talking about, bro?
So I was talking about how ADHD pretty much like just opened. After I quit my ADHD meds, it was like Pandora's box opening.
Right,
everything I thought I wanted to do, let's fucking do it.
Okay, so look, this is what I wanted to ask you. So I actually spoke to somebody before that was on that, and they basically was telling me like how when they went to the hospital and their parents basically agreed to that shit, like that shit made them feel a certain type of way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There, the sense of, I made a joke. I remember making jokes about this. Like my mom circumcised me And I remember, like, after I had, like, a fucking... Not, like when I was younger, obviously, when I was a baby.
Okay.
But, like, when I had, like, appendix... I had appendicitis, and she, like... it was, like, something, like, little joke, because it was like, oh, you can choose to keep the organ after you get it removed, right? And she just decided to throw it away. And I was like, I just felt some type of way, and I'm like, just like a humorous, like, hey, why the fuck are you throwing away? Like, that's not yours. That's like part of me.
Yeah.
Right.
And it just made me realize, like, damn, like, I had somebody almost, whether or not they thought it was good or bad, but good intention because it's my mother. But I had somebody kind of just like, kind of puppeteering my mind in a way.
Sure.
Like I just felt her presence in my mind in the way of like every time I take this, not like, oh, it's bad or it's good. It's just like
You taking the shit against your will type.
Yeah, like I don't have sovereignty over my mind. Like
sure.
Oh shit, like these thoughts, like who the fuck is this?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so when did you stop taking it?
Literally 10th grade.
10th grade.
Actually, probably 9th.
9th grade.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
a couple years on the medication. So
Nah. Well, I mean, you're talking like since elementary school, so we're talking like
elementary.
at least 7.
okay.
At least what, like
Wait.
7
Well,
7 years
elementary-
straight.
Yeah, like some from like 5th. Yeah, some from like 5th grade all the way up to like 9th, like beginning of 10th.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then so yeah, like I said, 10th grade is when I found out who this nigga is, and funny man, wild guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I didn't know all of that shit, bro. Like, I mean, yeah, no bullshit. So you feel better like without that shit, right?
Yeah, you know, I started realizing that, like beyond the ADHD, like going into like psychedelics, doing LSD, mushrooms, you really start to peel back what you think you are and where you actually are. Like, where the reality of like, all right, do you fucking hate this or do you fucking love this? With your subconscious, you know what I mean? Like beyond that, you might be like, oh, you know, middle stepping. I almost had to be in an altered mind state to kind of get to that point to really figure out like, oh, yo, I'm just like a